Welcome to the Chronically Healthy Life show. When you hear the word chronically, do you automatically associate it with chronic disease? We all do. It's been programmed right into us. But what if we flip that whole idea on its head? Let's discover how we can create chronic health in our bodies, our minds, our finances, our relationships, and our lives. Let's jump right on in with my life partner and everything. My name's Andy, and this is Minna.
So we just celebrated Chinese New Year, and we're at the end of Actually, we are at the end of January, and we talked about New Year's resolution and how it's going, and I think today is the day to actually talk about what's possible. Because I think a lot of people out there, they are suffering from some type of diseases. They are not seeing the end of the tunnel. They're not seeing any light at the end of the tunnel, and our two guests today, the Dueling Piano series, is what they've experienced so much in their journey, and we're really happy to have them come here and share with you. And so, who do we have today?
Yeah, so joining us for our grand finale of the Chronically Healthy Life, this special episode features one of our expert chronic collective coaches, Sandra, alongside our returning guest, Sandy, and they're just going to dive into the transformative power of healing through self-love and resilience. I think they're going to be talking so much about their journey, what you're learning when you're recovering from chronic disease. I'm not going to let you know what they are. They'll tell you their stories. But it's so important moving into February. It's always about love and relationships, but so many people forget about self-love.
Yeah, so Sandra is one of our coaches, and she's a functional nutrition and therapeutic practitioner, and she does natural healing for those with Hashimoto's, and she tailored her approach to every an individual's individuality.
Love it, and she's going to share her journey with Hashimoto's, and Sandy Duarte is an award-winning actress and a stage 4 cancer survivor. She's very passionate about yoga. She's a producer. She's an author, and her book Cancer Ramblings just released. Cancer Ramblings from Why to Why Not, and it offers hope and guidance that she's going to share with us today. It's going to be such an amazing show.
Yeah, and I hope it gives you, the viewers, some hope that whatever you're doing is going to work for you.
Exactly. And whatever it is out there, why not you that you can get better,
For sure. So we're going to
be right back after this break.
A life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully? A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. The energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look at the speed of science. longevity, at exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take control of your well-being from the inside out and outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Sandra.
Hi. Hey, and I'm Sandy.
And we're just, I think we're both so thrilled to be here. And Sandy, you know, everything I've heard about you really falls into the category of remarkable and amazing. So please tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your journey.
Oh my gosh. Well, first I want to say thank you to Andy and Mina for bringing me back. It's so much fun to just free flow and to have this forum to share from our heart other ways of being in life, you know, and through challenges, and shared challenges really create a light and a path towards other ways where the challenge becomes the information rather than the fear of, you know, not knowing what to do. But anyways, I'm rambling. Sandra, it's a joy to meet you. I don't even remember the question. I'm just so happy to be here, to make it, to be on the screen. I'm a stage 4 cancer survivor. I beat stage 4 cancer. About 5 months ago, I'm officially in remission. And what can I even say about that? It's surreal. You look back at your life like, what, that happened? What happened? And it can happen to anybody. And how do you push through surprises in life that can happen to anybody, in your health especially?
Well, and Sandy, how did you get to a diagnosis? How did that happen? What was, you know, was there some pivotal thing that happened at that?
Yes. Oh my gosh. My thing, I will never neglect a cough ever again. I had this relentless cough, like just issues with my lungs, just it would not go away. And I thought I had bronchitis or walking pneumonia because I'm from Canada, I'm from the East Coast. And every time I'm on the West Coast, I get something funky, bronchial. So I thought, you know what, it's a different climate. Let's be real, right? I thought it was the same thing, but I was taking antibiotics. It got a little bit better, but not really. And I kept fading. The cough was persistent, but my body, my energy level, I just kept declining. Where soon I was becoming a shell of myself. And I finally decided I need to go check out what my lungs are trying to tell me. And my doctor sends me for an MRI. Long story short, she calls me with that voice like in the movies where you know it's bad news on the other end. She's like, they're showing a mass in this area of your body and they want to see you again. I go, okay, like whatever. I still think I have a lung condition. I go again and the MRI confirms that I have a huge 10 by 15 mass on my left side lung. She says, you know what, you need to go to the hospital immediately. This is beyond me. I end up going to the hospital and I never left. I didn't have really an issue with my lungs. I had a huge lymphoma, a huge cancerous mass that squashed my left lung, hence why I couldn't breathe, hence why I was declining, and I could barely climb up a hill. So don't neglect the simple things in your body like a cough. What I thought was so innocent became something much more intense and important.
When hearing those words, right? When you said as if out of a movie,
Yeah.
What did that do to you hearing what you heard?
Oh my gosh. I remember the oncologist who came to tell me, and he was just very matter of fact. He just dropped it without even like, I have news, or no, it was just like, oh yeah, you have cancer. And I literally dropped the F-bomb. I literally was like, what the F? Like, and my jaw dropped and I was like, what? I was shocked. Like, how? Like, I was stuck for 24 hours in the why. I allowed myself the why, because it's shocking when you're healthy, when there's no signs other than perhaps a cough. Where did it come from? Maybe I'll never know, Sandra, but I had to discard the why and then quickly push into why not and figure out, how am I going to heal? How am I going to anchor my mind in the positivity of working with medicine and with holistic practices that I exercise for myself and teach? So that's where the inception of, like, eventually my book was born from, as a form of therapy and to sort of make sense of the nonsense that this cancer was. because there was no reason for me to have cancer. If you look at me on paper, even my doctors and nurses were like, how does this happen to you? You know, you're healthy, you eat well, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do like check mark, check mark, check mark. And then it's like you get tired of answering those questions. I don't have the answer. So you move on. Forget it. Who cares? It can happen to anybody. But what are you going to do with this information now? So,
and what resilience, right? To be able to turn it around that quickly, you know, to go from something that's so devastating to actually putting action to it. And so, Sandy, what were your actions when, you know, when you changed your mind frame about all of this? What were your steps? You know, where did you go? How did you know where to go?
Gosh, that's a great question, Sandra. One thing I did is I definitely anchored myself strongly in faith. You know, meditation and prayer are very powerful things. And I had a lot of people in my circle, like legit saying, so-and-so's praying for you. This person's, everyone's, you know, prayer and meditation, the power of your heart space is really divine. I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. And so I tapped into that. And then another thing was I never intended on journaling at all. And people were like, you should journal. There was always like interesting stories coming up. And I'm like, no, there's enough cancer books and stuff. Who needs my story? Anyway, I was inspired one day to write. A title came down and it was Cancer Ramblings from Why Do I Not? And that was the permission, the informality that said, you know what? I know you're not a writer. I don't have the education of some of these minds of people that are, they write, you know, they're brilliant minds. I'm just a person going through an experience. But because of the informality of the title, it was the permission I needed spiritually, esoterically, to be like, I'm just going to write with no judgment. Who cares? You know, don't think about it. It was writing to the light. It's a chapter, it's a rambling that I have in my book called Writing to the Light, which to me was pivotal in my healing journey, where it was like every day or whenever I was inspired, I just wrote pages outside of me. And through that, it was taking away the pressure and the fear and the thoughts that can get trapped in you by putting it out there on the page. It's like you have a whole audience, invisible audience, that is waiting for your experience to help them. So as you're helping yourself in the writing, you're helping someone through your pain, and therefore you find purpose through pain. So it was a lot of faith, meditation, prayer, reading good books from the greats, and writing. Yeah.
And as you were writing the words, like, did you reflect on them, or was it just getting them out and that was the lifting? Like, what difference did the writing make to you personally?
You know, I wrote them without having to be in an editor mode. So I just let things, as I never forced it. I just let things download as I was inspired. And in moments of joy, in moments of, wow, something good, in moments of darkness, real fear, you know, where you can have good friends around you, Sandra, you can have a loved one or be married or whatever your situation is. There's also a lot of space where you're alone. And it's really like tapping into the fact that though you're alone, you're not really alone. Like isolation and separation is an illusion. We're all beating hearts. We're all connected to love, to something greater than us. And so through those there's a lot of scary pockets. I'm not here to be like, wow, I did this whole thing with a smile. It required so much work and so much deep faith and self-observation and alone time with yourself. And so, yeah, I don't even know what more to say about that one. It was a mixed bag of modalities that helped me navigate this thing called cancer. And it was also a mindset. I never saw my cancer as something negative. So for those that are watching, and I'm not here to sell something positive, toxic positivity, you know, there's some real serious, dire cancer situations out there. And where it's perhaps not the outcome that I had. And it's not necessarily always sunny and beautiful. But what I am trying to say is, how do we choose to see it? I have to get to that door. How I choose to get there is my choice. Am I going to drag my knees and scrape my knees along the ground to the door in pain? Or am I going to walk with some grace and some perspective so I open that same door? Whether the door opens and says you're alive or you're going to die, what is your journey towards that door? And so that's what I'm here to say. Life is hard even without cancer. And a lot of it is, how do we choose to navigate life with our mind?
Well, and I think that's absolutely brilliant what you're saying, and how did your path come to you? Because to pick yourself up like that and have this beautiful mindset, is that the core of really who you are, or just by the mere fact of being made to go through this type of journey? Was that caused it, or how do you see it? Like, how has this changed you at all?
Oh my God, Sandra, that's a great question. I'd like to admit that I've always been pretty conscious. I just want to be a good person. I want to be kinder. I want to be loving. And I do the work pre-cancer to just, how can I navigate any situation, any obstacle, personal challenge with somebody that's not working out? How can I do it with some grace? So I've always worked on myself a little bit, but the cancer deepens you and challenges those tools of who you were or who you are to see, let's see if she's got it through this. So cancer has only, my gosh, opened up a whole lot more of myself that I didn't know I had, such as like even writing this book and the capacity for love, the capacity to just trust and to keep flowing through life with more compassion. You know, it helped me to discard the things that don't matter anymore. And it's very personal, but those things add a lot of clarity. So I think cancer's only deepened a state of being of who I am naturally, and allowed me to become more real in that space.
Would that be the biggest thing that you believe is your biggest takeaway, the biggest impact, the biggest change that this has had for you?
Mm-hmm. To trust, to have faith, and to just trust, you know, and that all of it is really a perspective. You know, you can will a lot of things with your mind, but then you also have to do the work and trust science and the medicine, both the holistic medicine and the medicine of what hospitals may introduce you to, and coming to your own wisdom, you know, finding the voice, the wisdom. You know, cancer was like a long retreat, wellness retreat for me. And I know it sounds crazy. You know how you take a retreat, yoga retreat, you take a mindfulness retreat, you take a Vipassana. People go away for 10 days to tap into themselves. This was my tap in. It was several long months. And it was my retreat to go, okay, let's see what you're made of. Are you going to love life just when life is good? Or are you going to love life still, even when this is getting served up?
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge, Sandy. It truly is. Because that really shows the depth that you have and the resilience that you do have. And the book, what is your hope that this book brings to other people? Because it obviously had a therapeutic effect for you, but what do you now want it to do for others?
I have my book here. It's so strange. I look at this lady and I look at her and I say, I love you. It's a different person. It's a person that went through something. We're all constantly in a state of change as people, even cellular wise. Our cells are changing every 5 seconds. They're birthing and dying. Scientifically proven. I hope that this book can be a little, as the saying goes, a candle in the cave. Because, you know, we're all different. I might be who I am, and my personal experience maybe allowed me to go through this the way I did, but we're not all the same. Maybe there's somebody out there that is really in the dark, really in a lot of pain, a different mindset. And it's not to judge, it's to support. How can my book be a light for those that perhaps are having a little bit more of a harder time with their personal experience through cancer and life? So I wouldn't wish this experience on anybody. But I will wish my book to serve some light and support so people can pick themselves up and believe in their greatness to come out. And so if that's what my purpose was out of this experience, then I'm done. I'm good. I've served my life. So yeah, that's my answer for that. Thank you, Sandra. You're amazing. How am I going to ask you questions?
That's kind of a big answer. That's huge, Sandy. It absolutely is. It truly is.
Thank you.
And what what main thing have you changed in your life, if anything? Having gone through this, have you made changes? Obviously, you made changes going throughout, but now that you're at the end of this, right? You're in a very, you were here, you're here, and so what does being here now mean for you on a daily basis, and going forward?
Being here means I love myself. I have self-love without egotism, because you have to have a healthy ego. You cannot just be day and night. You can't just be soft or just hard. The two have to be together, masculine, femininity. Self-love is more clear to me than ever. Never again will I be a bleeding heart for everybody and everything else around me without taking care of myself. You know what I mean? It comes back to how can you care for yourself and self-care yourself and not put yourself second for anything or anybody. What matters to you for your own sake of your own health, your own mind, because you're of no service if you're half of a person because you're suffering, doing something for everybody else or for somebody that's not reciprocating. So what I take from this and from this cancer is love yourself even more. Take care of yourself. Love yourself so you can then love even more what you're doing as a person on this planet. Very important. And then that translates into your relationships, with people. And I know we're going into February and Valentine's and it's the day and all that stuff, but you have to love yourself, enjoy yourself in order to really embody wanting to love another. You can't fill from an empty cup, as the saying goes. So cancer taught me a lot of like, girl, you're going to take care of yourself. You're going to pause. It's going to be the longest wellness retreat ever. You're going to survive and you're going to love yourself more. And in the process, you're going to love life. And through life is going to love you. And so the chain goes. And that's how I'd answer that. Self-love is so key, Sandra.
No, that's beautiful. And you talk about your cup. Are you able now to identify and know when that cup is low for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. It's a feeling. It's, it's one of those things. It's a knowing. It's just a knowing where it's like, no, this has got to stop. I know what I need. I need to go for a walk. I need that time in nature. Or I need to just say, no, I can't do it. Or, you know what, that's not feeling right for me. It's also speaking your truth. If something doesn't feel right for you, and just tell someone with love, I didn't like the way that was communicated. So yeah, don't do that in the future. And let's move forward. And then you let it go and you move on. There's no holding on. Right? So it's all the little things that equal self-love. Sometimes just saying no out of love for your, to take care of your calendar or yourself. That's love. That's self-love. Sorry,
right.
no, I can't join you. Right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It is for sure. And in terms of these, I know you have a visit coming up with some family that I know that you're very excited to see. And what's the biggest I guess the biggest source of happiness for you for doing that?
For going home for a visit? To cherish the most valuable currency we have, which is time. Wow. And to know that a lot of it, time slipped. I was unable to go anywhere. Cancer grounded me. So it's reclaiming that currency of time with my family and to just know that it's fleeting. We're here for a mortal minute in time. And it's bittersweet and it's beautiful and scary all rolled into one. It's the absurdity of life, and doesn't that make you want to love more? To think that we're all somebody's children. And so there's a sacredness to that. And so it's a joy to go back and to hug and to be and to honor time that's fleeting with my family.
Yeah, that's really special. I hope you have the most amazing, brilliant. I know that you'll have a wonderful, wonderful visit with your family. And I know when Andy and Minna kicked the segment off, they talked about what's possible. And I think that you are beyond a shining light and example of what's possible. for what you managed to navigate. And did you do it mostly on your own? Was this, yeah, so you had nobody necessarily guiding you, nobody suggesting things like this, all just like,
Yeah, my family's back home in Canada. My sister came for a couple of visits, which was lovely. I had I kept it to a very tight circle of friends because it's too much work to tell too many people because it's just overwhelming. So I kept a very tight handful of close friends that were there for me, and it was wonderful. So I was never truly alone. I had my faith. I had the universe. I had God. I had my family checking in. I had friends texting, and I had that journey. I had a great team of doctors at All of You Medical, who I love and cherish, and I had a good tight circle. And of course, within that, there's a lot of alone time. You can't go through the water. You can't without just going through it. There's no other way through it to the other side, is what I'm saying. And so I did have a little combination, but mostly I did it on my own, but I had a really great tight circle that I'm grateful for. And now the circle is much larger because I've now shared my story because I'm ready, I'm healed up. And that was my process. So now it's like, let's just share with the world and see what we can do to make it a little bit better for people going through it.
I think that for anybody going through a similar journey would, love to have the benefit of your words and your passion. So how Sandy, can people get in touch with you and get your book and
oh my gosh,
benefit from all you have to share?
Thank you. I mean, very easy to go to cancerramblings.com. That's my website. All the social links are there, email, join my newsletter. I do a weekly curated newsletter where it's like health and wellness tips of my journey. And then for the book, it's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, paperback format, and it's available worldwide now. I mean, I think I even saw it in some a website where super abroad, where it was super impressive. I'm like, what is this language? It's so amazing. So it's in the world, is what I'm trying to say, outside of mine.
The world is going to benefit from your beauty and your gift and your knowledge. And Sandy, thank you so much. I can't wait for you to grill me, but I can't wait for people to hear your message.
Thank
because
you.
So many people are going through exactly what you went through, and they'll be stronger and better for hearing your message. So thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
You're so sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Imagine a life where every day is fueled by energy, vitality, and purpose. Where age is just a number and your best years are always ahead. Hi, I'm Andy Nam, certified functional nutrition longevity coach, best-selling author, and international speaker. After reversing my own chronic health struggles, I'm now on a mission to help you live longer, stronger, and of course to look younger. I combine biohacking, cutting-edge nutrition, and stem cell technology to unlock your body's full potential. So no matter where your starting point is, I'm going to guide you toward a chronically healthy life. Ready to reverse aging and take control of your future? Connect with me today. Your journey to longevity starts here.
Are you struggling to communicate effectively or lead with clarity? At Bambushu Coaching, Vince, a certified peace specialist and brain health trainer, offers solutions tailored to your needs. Whether it's developing better leadership skills, improving communication, or fostering peace in stressful environments, Vince has the tools to help you thrive. Through personalized coaching and training, Vince helps you tap into your strengths, reduce stress, and communicate with confidence. The result: stronger leadership, clearer communication, and more peaceful, productive environments. Ready to lead with clarity and peace? Connect with Vince at Bambushu Coaching today.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to have the tables turned. I love this concept, and it's such a joy to speak with you, Sandra. I want to introduce you now to the viewers listening in. I would love for you to introduce yourself, because I believe I only know one person in my life that had Hashimoto's, and It's such a cool name, but what is it for those that don't know? I mean, really, it sounds like a really, it's very unique. Tell us a little bit about how and what this is about, but how this came into your life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. Um, in terms of how it came, it's something similar to what you even said, Sandy, about not ignoring things.
Mm.
Right. And so I had, a series of symptoms, and because they're sort of nebulous, right, in terms of what they exactly are, they fall into any category, right, any category of anything. And in addition to that, some people, because you don't really see it, so a lot of people think, well, it's just psychosomatic, right? You just think you have these things or whatever. But it was a blood test that confirmed it. And then specifically, I went for antibody testing, which was the autoimmune component of a underactive thyroid. But you're right. The name is intriguing sounding. People think it's a dish or restaurant food.
My
And
gosh. And what
and
made you go grab what made you what had you go to get that blood work done? Was there any symptoms or something that was like, knocking on your door?
they were for sure, Sandy. And so it was uh, primarily a lot of exhaustion.
Mm.
Just and I'm normally somebody that's fairly high energy, and it would be, to get through a day, it'd be, well, I have to lay down, or I can't do that. And so a lot of constraints were being put on what I could do. Hair falling out as well. It would sort of be in the shower, and it'd be like, is
Wow.
that really coming out of me? And so things that just weren't normal, as well, being cold.
Mm.
I think the neighbors were intrigued because I'd be walking our dog, uh, in spring and summer, and I'd be all sort of done up with scarves and little jackets.
Wow. Oh
Like,
my,
it's warm out, right? Like,
wow.
realize.
That's wild. And what does treatment look like when it comes to Hashimoto's? Like what was that for you?
Absolutely. So it was going on a prescription. There's different ways that it's treated depending on what
Mm.
exactly is found. Some people require a partial or full removal of their thyroid. There's different things that may necessitate to happen, based on what they find. And so for me, it was a prescription, one of the
Uh-huh.
popular ones. But it's kind of interesting because I required more and more of a higher dose. But as I would get the higher dose, I was finding that I was actually feeling worse. So it was inversely proportional. It's like I take the medication, and the more I took on their recommendation,
Wow.
the worse I felt. So clearly that route wasn't working well for me. And it
Oh my gosh. And sorry, I was distracted a little bit because there was a dog at my door and a person, but
Oh, it's lovely.
but I was like, oh, I'm coming back to you and listening to you. I wanted to ask you, this was a physical thing naturally that you had to go through. And I think our experiences, whether it's Hashimoto's, cancer, or whatever, a lot of it sometimes has to do with how are we navigating our mind through this. Did you ever come across any challenges where you had to, like, any fear, or was there anything that you had to lean on to help you through, mentally, emotionally? What worked for you through this?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And first, I'm at a different state now. So just like you are in a different, stage of things, I'm also in a different stage. So
Ah,
if I go back to where I was, because this was not how I was back then.
yes.
And so, yes, because you'd have to deal with the realization that you couldn't do. There were so many constraints on what you were able to do, and so you really saw a shrinkage of life, so to speak. So all the things that you'd like to do, you couldn't really do anymore.
Hmm.
Or you could do them to a limited capacity, and so it was really similar to you. It's like I
Yeah.
realized that I wasn't getting certain answers that I needed, or things just weren't in the right direction. So as you went spiritual and did all of that, I did a lot of research as well, and just started experimenting, in essence, on myself to figure out how I can get out of this.
Wow. What was, and sorry to interrupt you, Sandra, it's so fascinating how they parallel the worlds, even though they're different. What was the one experiment that perhaps blew your mind or took your breath away? Like, that's what it is, or that's what I needed. Was there ever an aha moment in any of those experiments and discoveries?
I had several aha moments and several not aha moments, meaning things that I thought might work and that had worked on other people didn't work on me. And so I was sort of deflated, because you're thinking, well, you're seeing all of these other people do this. They were trying all these other things and seeing results, and I wouldn't necessarily see results. So those were my anti aha moments, because it was like thinking that would be a way out, and it was the opposite. And in terms of aha moments, it was realizing the importance that diet played. Very important components of diet. Lifestyle as well, Sandy, was a huge element that, that I really had to, there were things that would work and things that wouldn't work. So I had to figure those out. And just sort of resetting expectations while I was healing, because it really was healing in a circle. It's like I make some progress, but then there'd be steps back, and it was just it's just a matter of just keep trying. And because everybody is bio-individual, and they've got their own strengths and weaknesses, and so I just had to figure out what worked for me.
My gosh, I love what you said about something about resetting your healing. What was it that you said? It was really brilliant.
You're so sweet. Expectations, resetting my expectations.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And if there was one thing that you'd want people viewing in that are new to this experience with Hashimoto's, what would be one thing that really is at the forefront of your heart and mind that you'd want to give to them as a gold nugget of truth or information?
I love that. And one of the things is just, again, maybe to tie in, what Min and Andy were talking about in terms of possibilities, because I think a lot of times people get a diagnosis and they, it's sort of like they think the outcome is what the outcome, might be, traditionally might be. And I just want people to know that there are possibilities. Just like you've shown the remarkable healing from your diagnosis, right? You've shown what's possible on that end. And from a Hashimoto's perspective, because a lot of times in the allopathic medicine world, it really is, okay, that's the condition. This is what we do. Yes, you're going to feel lousy. We'll try to manage it, and that's it. And the thing is that doesn't have to be the takeaway. The takeaway can be, yes, this is your diagnosis, and now you start doing things to heal your body in the way that your body needs to be healed. And no, you can go on and have, vibrancy and energy, and so you don't have to settle for what a typical diagnosis might be.
That's amazing. A lot of it then is a lot of your own wisdom for experimentation and seeing what works for you.
Lots of reading, lots of experimentation. Yes,
you're so lovely, and you have such great energy, and you can really sense your vitality just off the screen. I have to say that, even though we just met.
Maybe I'm getting it from you.
and I wanted to say, and I think you asked me a similar question, but I'm curious for yours. And I'm just wondering, how was it in your family situation? Did you have a good support system yourself as you were going through this? Did any love help you in this journey?
It did. That's a beautiful question. And it absolutely did, from the perspective that when I had constraints, there wasn't pressure put on me in terms of, well, we want to do this, or pushing me to do things that I wasn't able to do. It was just sort of like wherever I was at, sort of set the bar for what was. And so that made me feel very included, very supported, very loved, because there really were no expectations. And if it was a good day, that's great. And if it was a day that was going to be off, well, okay, it's a day that's
Wow.
off, and that's okay. It's an off day, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Wow, really great answer. My gosh, am I minding the time okay? How are things? How are things with time? Because I think we can keep going and going. Geez, tell me, where could people reach you? Because you're a specialist in this. Did your occupation or your career come out because of this experience?
Oh my goodness, Sandy, you must be like a mind reader or something. Because that is correct. It really, in terms of where I was, right? So in what I would do is and sorry, what was the
Did your career, your occupation come about because of your personal experience with Hashimoto's?
It did. And so basically with what I was doing, I was primarily doing it just for myself. And then realizing that, other people might not want to go on that same circular journey
Yeah.
that I was on. And also it really was years, Sandy, as well. Years of trials and experimentation. And so the hope would be is that maybe I can, make the path a little bit shorter, a little bit more direct for people. And to help them get out, because, a lot of people that have the condition, they just, they just accept, right, that this is it. These are the new limitations. And and they take whatever medications, and it may or may not help. And so it absolutely did. It really helped the trajectory. So I studied nutrition and functional
Oh my
medicine
gosh.
from the perspective of being able to help people at a deeper level.
I think that's phenomenal because a lot of times, people get into their practice for a passion for it. So, for instance, I have an oncologist. He's passionate about cancer, but doesn't mean he experienced personal cancer. So, for somebody to come to you, knowing that not only are you passionate, but you've personally experienced it, adds a whole other layer of help that to me is so much more personal and advantageous. So, I think it's incredible.
No, for sure. And that's a really great point, Sandy, because, people, you can relate to them. So when they tell you that they're feeling however it is, what that actually means. Right?
Exactly.
Like on your end, what it means. On my end, you know what it means. And so people feel the connection that way, so that, if you're able to navigate your way out, if I'm able to navigate mine, then it does give a bit of a path to others, right?
I have to ask you one more question. One more quick question as I mind the time. I'm not a good timekeeper. Oh my God. What was one key practice that perhaps saved you through this? Is there perhaps a spiritual practice or something that's simple for a takeaway for people that worked for you personally in your life?
Oh, it would be for sure on a spiritual end, on a practical end. It really was about identifying stressors, because stress can really exacerbate autoimmune conditions.
Yes.
And so it really was about identifying, what things are working, what things aren't working. And for the things that didn't work, it was really about taking a step back and looking at them going, so why doesn't it work? What about that situation? Because obviously it's my reaction to the situation, because situations aren't necessarily bad. It's how you're perceiving them.
Yes.
So, so it was about really just stepping back and going, okay, so what does that mean that this is happening? Is it that bad? Probably not. And so that really, I think that would be like a number one thing, is just, understanding stress, but also understanding messages from your body. When because pain isn't normal, right? Pain is not normal. Discomfort is not normal. And I know that people have normalized it.
Yes.
Everybody just expects to feel bad. But if you are getting those messages, also step back and go, okay, so what does that mean that this is happening? And so yes, for sure. So on a practical end of things, yes, and from a spiritual perspective as well, in terms of really, looking at how you're approaching things and just trying to bring the best forward.
And I love that because I think that boils down to just, I guess, one of the little themes of self-love. By listening to yourself, that's self-love. A lot of times we put ourselves second. We don't really listen to what is it that my body needs. Do I have an ache, or do I need some extra sleep? Oh no, you can keep going. So-and-so needs you. And so by listening to yourself, you're really in a deep sense of a state of self-love, which is so important.
I think you hit the home run on that one, Sandy.
Yeah, it's self-love really, and you're beaming because of it, and I think it's beautiful. Listen, Sandra, I mean, I love this. Thank you, Andy and Mina. What a great forum to share two different so-called visitors, cancer and Mr. Hashimoto, and yet the paths can have a lot of alignment and similarity, and we can remove the mystery. So thank you for allowing this platform to chat about it, because our paths are different but similar. Sandra, where can people reach you? Because I think you're obviously such a great source of support. Where can they reach you?
Oh, thank you. Absolutely, Sandy. So in terms of my website, healingmyhashimotos.com, and it really, it gives different types of support, different information that people who do have Hashimoto's, may find valuable. And so for sure, like reach out. I'm happy to talk with you, to talk about your journey, but also how to personalize it. Because again, it's, there are common threads to help heal. For sure, there are common threads, but then there are elements that I think it's important to really look at the person, because the diet, the type of diet that supports me and is helpful to me may not necessarily be, the one for you or somebody else. And so it's really about understanding the nuances, right? Of getting the nuances, and all that does is it just speeds up healing and gets people feeling a little bit better faster, hopefully.
Well, thank you for that. I hope people connect with you, because it's very unique to have somebody that provides that kind of service, that kind of support with the actual lived experience of someone who lived through it. So thank you, Sandra.
Thank you. And Sandy, I'm so excited. When do you leave for your big trip? When does this happen?
I leave tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Oh my goodness.
So I'm excited. It's going to be too cold for me. I've lost my East Coast edge being out here in Los Angeles, but it's okay. I'm going to just, layer and cocoon and stay inside and be cozy and do all the things.
And have you packed? Are you packed yet?
I'm pretty much packed. Yeah. A lot of sweats and a lot of this, cozy stuff. Yes.
Because are you originally from Canada?
Yes, I'm Canadian. And hopefully, I don't know if you can tell with my accent. Sometimes people can really tell. But yes, I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm Canadian, and proudly so. But I love California. I feel like I must have been, who knows? This place feels like home. And it's just, just to be a global citizen, to live and let live and just be. It's a joy.
We've got two beautiful homes, obviously, one in Canada, one in California, and because I'm Canadian as well. So we actually.
Oh my gosh! From where?
Near Toronto, actually.
Oh
so
my God! Nice. Oh my gosh! How amazing! Yes.
Well, I wish you safe flights
and
all the best, and enjoy your spectacular visit. And it's just it truly is inspirational talking.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Real joy, and please stay in touch. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. Sending you guys all much love and light. Honestly, it's a joy. Ciao.
An empowered life has no expiration date. We're all created to do incredible things. Like conquer summits, catch big waves, and live our passions. As time goes on, our bodies begin to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy levels decline, sleep patterns shift, and recovery slows. But our bodies are masterpieces of design, holding the potential to bounce back better than ever. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and regenerative science that others could not. By By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHKCU, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, which requires external light sources, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality, enhancing the body's flow of natural energy. For improvements in strength, stamina, performance, and overall health and well-being, with the simplicity of an affordable, non-invasive, non-transdermal patch. As we age, levels of these life-enhancing elements, which are associated with wellness and longevity, begin to decline. LifeWave invested 10 years into stem cell research, which resulted in over 70 patents. X39 was born to bring to the public a product that can support wellness in an entirely new way, supporting the production of younger, healthier cells with wearable light technology. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. Harness your body's natural potential to maintain youthful energy and vitality, because life comes at you fast, but it doesn't have to pass you by. Live long, live well, live young. Be the light with LifeWave X39. LifeWave.
Welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life show. That was so inspiring, having two women that has conquered their journey with chronic disease. And I think that was very inspirational, because a lot of people, when they are diagnosed with something, they lose all hope.
For sure. And I think, we do a lot of like storytelling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we often place ourselves as coaches or like Yoda, right? In their cases, these two ladies are heroes. Like, they actually conquered their difficulty. They overcome the obstacles, and they came out a hero. So I hope their stories inspired you all.
Yeah, I hope they're your Yodas. Like, you guys are Star Wars fans, or maybe you're Luke Skywalker, just not your Darth Vader. But I hope that get Sandy's book. Her website was right there, and maybe you can help inspire someone that's having some hard journey with cancer themselves, or anyone that's facing Hashimoto's. A lot of people don't know it. Like Sandra said, get tested. And I think that's so important. Everything shows inside what is going on, right? So don't wait until something goes wrong, like Sandy says, right? Like,
Right.
a minor cough could mean something else. Don't wait till don't let it fester.
Yeah, your body's always giving you signs on what you need to pay attention to. Just get it tested. Be mindful of the changes in your body, and just take care of yourself.
Exactly. That self-love's important. You can't love others until you take care of yourself, right?
So we have someone else for next week?
Yeah, so next week we are back to our regular format, and our special guest is going to be Shalene Dirk. I actually met her very recently through my own coach of coaches, because I think as a coach, we get our coaches so we can get better also. And she's another fellow Canadian, so it's going to be interesting. She's actually from Alberta. And for all the Canadians out there, make sure you follow up. This is like a Canadian show tonight. It's like we're all Canadians from West Coast to East Coast, right? So that was actually very fun.
So join us back here on Friday, 7 p.m. CST. You can watch all our episodes on e360tv.com. We have a YouTube channel at Chronically Healthy Life. And if you'd like to know more about what we do and how we can help you live a chronically healthy life, visit us on our website at chronicallyhealthylife.com.
And of course, I have my book on there. Longevity is a new L word, small book. If you want to learn about living longer, boosting your health, download it there, sign up. It's free for you all. And I love to get some input.
And we'll see you back here next week.
We'll see you next week.
Hello. We are Mutts and Meows Rescue, a 501c3 nonprofit, foster-based, no-kill group. Mutts and Meows Rescue pulls dogs and cats from surrounding shelters in the greater Houston area. We even pick up dogs and cats abandoned on the streets. Mutts and Meows Rescue is foster-based and rely on your donations to keep rescuing. To know more about us is to know more about our furry friends and help them find their forever homes. Come visit us at Mutts and Meows Rescue on Facebook today and decide how you can make a difference.